Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring this idea of the transformative power of sacrificial giving. We'll be going through some writings from Baha'u'llah, Abdul Baha, and Shoghi Effendi.
Lots to unpack.
Yeah, we've got some serious wisdom to unpack.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I find really interesting is this idea that small acts of giving can have really big impact, both for us personally and then, globally.
Definitely.
What do you think? Is it really possible that something as simple as just letting go can lead to abundance?
That's a great question, and it really gets at the heart of what Baha'u'llah is talking about. When he talks about true wealth,
right,
and how it lies in detachment from material things.
Yeah, it's like he's flipping the script, right?
Yeah, it really challenges the way we normally think about wealth, like how much we accumulate or own.
Yeah. And I know I've definitely fallen into that trap of if I just had this one more thing, then I'd be happy. But
there's always another thing.
Yeah, there's always another thing.
What Baha'u'llah is really pointing to is a deeper, more lasting kind of wealth.
Okay.
And that comes from, being less attached to material possessions and more focused on things like service and love and spiritual growth.
I see. So it's more about how we are rather than what we have.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that shift in perspective can be so liberating.
Yeah.
It's almost like freeing up space in our lives for something more meaningful.
Okay.
Now, Abdul Baha, actually, he builds on this idea with a really beautiful analogy of a seed growing into a mighty tree.
Yeah.
So he's really emphasizing that idea that every act of giving, no matter how small, it can have a huge impact.
Okay.
Just like that tiny seed has this potential to become this towering tree.
It's not just about the amount that we're giving.
Exactly.
Okay.
He says the real value lies in the love and sacrifice that we put into it.
That resonates so much.
Yeah.
I remember this one time I was struggling financially and I could only donate a very small amount to this cause that I really cared about. And I was a little self-conscious at first.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then, I realized it wasn't about the actual dollar amount.
Right.
It was more about aligning my actions with my values.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example of how the heart of giving, really the genuine desire to contribute, can be more powerful than the amount that we're actually giving.
So it's really about the intention behind it.
Yes, and it also touches on another key point that Abdul Baha makes, this idea of giving with joy and radiance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's not about, giving grudgingly or out of a sense of obligation.
Yeah.
It's really about finding that place within ourselves.
Yeah.
Where giving becomes an expression of our deepest values and aspirations.
So it's about aligning our actions.
Exactly. With our heart's desires.
Yeah.
And then doing it with joy.
Oh, I like that.
That's when giving becomes truly transformative.
Now, we can't really talk about giving without talking about the impact it has on the world around us. Baha'u'llah actually emphasizes how giving can contribute to global unity and understanding.
Yeah, he's suggesting that when we willingly give to better humanity, we're actively taking part in building a more just and unified world.
So it goes beyond just personal growth.
Yeah, it elevates it beyond just personal growth. It's this idea of building a better future for everyone.
It's like each act of giving is a building block in this.
Precisely.
It's this huge project of creating a more unified world.
And this actually brings us to a concept that Shoghi Effendi talks about. The idea of contributions being the lifeblood of endeavors.
I like that.
The powerful image.
It is.
Suggesting that these individual acts of giving are really essential to sustain any kind of collective progress.
Like how even a small donation can help keep an organization running.
Exactly. Or how volunteering a few hours can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that every effort to create positive change in the world, it needs a constant flow of support.
Okay.
Just like, our bodies need a constant flow of blood to function.
So it's not just about giving money. That's about giving our time, our energy.
You got it.
Our skills.
Yeah, saying we each have something unique and valuable to offer. And when you combine all those individual contributions, they fuel amazing things.
And it's not just about, outward impact. It's also about enriching our own spiritual lives as well.
Shoghi Effendi makes that point.
It's like this two-way street of blessings.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So how exactly does giving enrich us spiritually?
Shoghi Effendi talks about how we receive these waves of divine confirmation.
Oh, interesting.
When we give with true devotion.
Okay.
So he's suggesting that when we align our actions with this higher purpose and we give selflessly, we open ourselves up to a deeper connection with the spiritual realm.
Okay. I'm curious about this.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept.
It's like we're tapping into this hidden dimension of giving where our actions create this spiritual feedback loop.
Yeah, like a nourishment.
That nourishes us, yeah. I'd love to explore this more deeply.
Yeah, it's like
we're uncovering a hidden treasure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel that way.
It does.
It's like we're peeling back the layers.
Yeah.
Discovering something really profound about the nature of giving.
Yeah.
And this interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah, it's like how could giving back to others actually benefit ourselves as well?
Well, one thing that really strikes me about this whole idea of spiritual confirmation is that it's not about receiving some external reward or validation.
It's internal.
It's about this deeper sense of alignment within ourselves, like this feeling of being on the right path, contributing to something larger than ourselves.
Yeah. When I give with the genuine desire to serve, I feel much more peace and fulfillment than if I were to get any reward.
And it reminds me of another point
that
Shoghi Effendi makes. These blessings, these waves of divine confirmation, they aren't just for a select few. He emphasizes that this principle of sacrificial giving is universal.
Oh, wow.
It's this inherent quality of the human spirit that transcends, any particular
religion, belief system. Exactly.
So it's not about being a Baha'i.
Precisely. It's about tapping into something that's already there in us.
Regardless of background belief.
Regardless of background belief, exactly.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it's really about recognizing that we all have this capacity for selflessness and love, within us.
Yeah, it's like we're all part of this interconnected web.
Interconnected web of humanity.
And every act of giving kind of strengthens that.
It strengthens those connections.
Okay.
It contributes to the well-being of the whole.
Now, I got to admit, I sometimes struggle with this idea of sacrifice.
Sure.
It can feel daunting.
I'm being asked to give up something that I need or want.
Well, and I think it's important to acknowledge that feeling.
Okay.
Sacrifice can be challenging.
Right. Especially when
society is telling us to.
Exactly. That glorifies.
Take.
Self-interest. Yeah. Material acquisition.
Yeah.
But what if we shift our perspective a little bit?
Okay.
What if instead of viewing sacrifice as deprivation, we saw it as an investment.
An investment.
An investment in our own spiritual growth.
Okay.
In the well-being of others. And in creating, a more just and equitable world.
I see. So it's like
it's about recognizing
putting in
that true abundance comes not from holding on tightly to what we have, but from sharing generously and trusting
that it'll come back,
that we'll receive even more in return.
Yeah, it's not about giving till it hurts.
Yeah. It's about giving till it feels amazing.
I love that, yeah.
But how do we actually cultivate that?
That's a great question.
Sense of joy in giving.
And I think it starts with aligning our giving with our passions and our values.
Okay, so what are the things...
What are the things that light you up?
That light me up.
What causes do you deeply care about?
I'm very passionate about education.
Okay.
Environmental sustainability.
Wonderful.
Promoting understanding between different cultures.
That's beautiful. And notice how you light up.
I do.
When you talk about those things.
I do.
That's a clue.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
Okay.
When we align our giving with our passions, it stops feeling like a burden.
Right.
It becomes an expression of who we are.
Right.
What we believe in.
We're tapping into this wellspring of energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And enthusiasm.
When we're doing something we love.
That naturally flows.
Yeah.
When we're engaged in something.
Right.
That resonates.
That truly resonates, yeah.
This brings us back to Abdul Baha's point.
Okay.
about giving with
joy
and radiance.
Right.
He's not just talking about putting on a happy face.
Right.
It's about tapping into that deep well of joy.
It's that fear
that comes from aligning our actions with our heart's desires.
Right. It's that sweet spot where it's a reflection of ourselves.
It becomes an expression of our authentic selves.
Our unique gifts.
A way of sharing those gifts.
Yeah. Love that.
With the world. And remember, it doesn't have to be this grand, heroic gesture.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most meaningful acts are the small, everyday acts.
Yeah, like we were saying.
Of kindness and generosity.
Just listening.
A listening ear.
Helping with groceries.
A helping hand.
Yeah.
A word of encouragement.
Those little things.
Those seemingly insignificant acts can have a profound impact and ripple outwards in ways that we may never comprehend.
I think about when I was feeling down and my friend surprised me with a little gift and a note.
That's so sweet.
It was such a small thing, but it totally turned my day around.
That's a beautiful example of how even small acts of giving can create these ripples of kindness and compassion that extend far beyond ourselves.
It's like how interconnected we all are.
It speaks to that interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah.
How our actions, no matter how small, can have this positive impact.
It's almost overwhelming.
It is somewhat.
When you really think about it.
Isn't it?
Like we each have this power.
Yeah. And it's a reminder.
To make a difference.
That even amid all the challenges and complexities of the world, there's always hope.
Right.
There's always the possibility of creating a better future. One act of giving at a time.
One act of giving at a time.
And this brings to mind this concept of a
just an equitable world.
Just an equitable world.
Yeah. How does giving actually tie back into that?
That's a really important question. I think it gets to the heart of what Baha'u'llah is saying when he talks about how giving is not just about personal gain, but about contributing to the betterment of humanity as a whole.
Right.
He envisions a world where justice, unity, and compassion prevail over selfishness, greed, and division.
Sounds beautiful, but also kind of idealistic.
I understand that sentiment.
Yeah.
The world definitely faces its share of challenges.
Lots of challenges.
But I think it's important to remember that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit, it retains this capacity for love, generosity, self-transcendence.
And it's those qualities.
And it's these qualities
that will help us
when they're cultivated and expressed through acts of selfless giving that have the power to transform not only our individual lives, but the very fabric of society.
So it's not about
it's not about
thinking everything's going to be perfect.
Naively believing.
Overnight, but it's about
it's about acknowledging the challenges, but choosing to focus on the positive, on that potential for change, and the power of our individual actions.
To contribute to that change.
Exactly.
It's about embracing hope.
Embracing a mindset of hope.
And possibility.
And
trusting that those little acts.
Yeah, and trusting that even
can make a difference.
Small acts of kindness and generosity can have this ripple effect.
That extends beyond us.
That extends far beyond ourselves.
Yeah. This reminds me of a quote from Abdul Baha. Where he's talking about the importance of having hearts overflowing with the love of God.
Yes.
And spirits radiant with the fire of his love.
Yeah, he's suggesting.
So it's like we're becoming these conduits.
Yes, exactly.
This love.
And we become conduits for that divine love.
Right.
Allowing it to flow through us.
Yeah.
Touch the lives of others.
And that's where that real power comes from.
And I think that's
where the true power.
About donating.
Doing good deeds. Yeah.
It's not just about doing good deeds.
It's about
doing money.
Tapping into that wellspring.
It's about tapping into that wellspring.
Of love.
Of love within ourselves.
Yeah.
Letting it guide our actions in the world.
There's so much kindness and generosity happening.
I love that, yeah.
All around us every day.
And I think it's so important.
Yeah.
To celebrate those acts.
Right.
To acknowledge that positive impact.
Yeah.
That they're having on the world.
People are out there volunteering.
Exactly. Because every act of giving.
Right. They're giving to charity.
No matter how small.
They're standing up for what they believe in.
Contributes to this larger movement of love.
It's really inspiring.
Compassion and justice.
Yeah.
That's slowly but surely.
It reminds me of that saying, never doubt.
Yes.
That a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens
I love that quote.
Can change the world.
And I think it speaks to the power.
It is the only thing that ever has.
Of collective action.
Yeah.
Of individuals coming together with this shared vision.
When people come together.
With a shared purpose.
To create a better future.
Amazing things can happen.
Because even though each of us.
It's like the energy just multiplies.
May only be able to contribute a small piece. To the puzzle.
Yeah, we're all part of this.
When we combine our efforts.
Big symphony. We create something truly remarkable.
Yeah.
It's like we're all
playing our unique instruments.
Part of this grand symphony.
Right.
Each playing our own unique instrument.
Yeah.
But contributing to this
harmonious whole.
Harmonious whole.
Yeah.
That's greater.
That's greater than all of us.
Than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of another important point that Shoghi Effendi makes.
Okay.
While these individual acts of giving are essential, it's also important to work together, to collaborate, to support each other in our efforts to create positive change.
It's about seeing ourselves as part of a whole.
He emphasizes the importance of unity, of seeing ourselves
and working together
in part of a larger whole, and working together
but towards that common goal.
Towards a common goal.
But then that's how we build a just and equitable world.
And this brings us back to this idea of building a more just and equitable world, because it's not something
no one person can do it.
Any one person or organization can do alone.
It takes all of us.
It requires this collective effort, collaboration, and a willingness to support each other, in our efforts to create
a just, sustainable,
a more just,
compassionate world.
Sustainable, compassionate world for all.
I love that vision.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It's so inspiring.
To think that
we can be a part of something bigger.
We can all be a part
in ourselves.
Of something so much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
That we can contribute to creating a world
where everyone can thrive.
Where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Reach their full potential.
And reach their full potential.
And you can do it.
And what's even more amazing?
With joy.
Is that we can do it.
With purpose.
With joy. With radiance. With this deep sense of purpose and fulfillment.
It's about aligning.
Beautifully said.
Our hearts with our actions.
And I think this speaks to the heart of the Baha'i teachings.
Our intentions with our aspirations.
Like the
individual efforts.
It's not just about duty.
With the collective good.
Or obligation.
And when we do that.
But about tapping into.
That's when we unlock the power.
Our innate capacity for love and generosity.
Right. And the possibility.
Allowing those qualities.
To really transform.
To guide our actions in the world.
Ourselves.
It's about aligning.
And the world around us.
Our hearts.
Yeah.
With our actions.
Inspired.
To go and put these ideas into practice.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
This understanding.
That giving isn't just a concept.
That sacrificial giving.
Yeah, it's a call to action.
Is not just a theoretical concept.
It is
but a call to action.
Yeah.
An invitation to step into our full potential. It is.
As agents of change in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
To realize that we all have this capacity.
Yeah.
To be these forces for good.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be about
in the world
those big gestures or
exactly
saving the world all at once.
And I think sometimes it's those everyday acts.
It's little things
of kindness that make the biggest difference.
Yeah, like you were saying.
Like we were saying earlier,
just offering a listening ear.
Offering that listening ear.
Helping someone carry their groceries.
Helping someone carry groceries.
Just being there for someone.
Or simply being present.
When they're having a tough time.
For someone going through a hard time.
And I think about those small acts.
Exactly. And I think those small acts often have
a much bigger impact
than we realize.
That we might not even realize.
Yeah, because think about it.
Think about it this way,
When someone does something kind for you.
If someone does something kind for you, doesn't it make you want to go and do something kind for someone else?
Don't you feel more inclined to do the same?
Yeah.
For someone else.
It's like this chain reaction.
Like this beautiful chain reaction.
Of kindness and generosity.
Love and generosity, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, if every small act of giving creates those ripples.
It makes you wonder.
What kind of world could we create?
What kind of world could we create together?
If we all just embrace that.
If we all consciously embrace this principle.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
a powerful question.
It would be a radical shift
and I think
from how things are now.
One that we each
I think it would
have to answer for ourselves.
Completely change how we interact.
But imagine a world
with each other.
Where selfishness
and the world around us
is replaced with service.
Yeah, it'd be like a whole new culture.
Where greed gives way.
Big generosity.
And shared purpose.
Where material pursuits are balanced. Yeah.
With a deep commitment.
Yeah.
To the well-being of humanity.
What if instead of asking, what's in it for me?
What if instead of asking,
we asked, how can I contribute?
What's in it for me?
Yeah.
We start asking.
That all starts with those.
How can I contribute?
Individual choices.
Yeah, it would be a radical shift.
Those moments where we decide to.
It all starts with those individual choices.
Put others before ourselves.
Those moments when we decide.
To extend a helping hand.
To put the needs of others before our own.
Yeah.
To extend a helping hand.
It might seem small.
To offer a word of encouragement.
But it could.
Those moments might seem small.
Shift the trajectory of our lives.
But they have the power.
And the world around us.
To shift the trajectory.
It's like we're all holding these.
Of our lives.
Tiny seeds of generosity.
And the world around us.
And each time we choose to plant one.
It's like we're all holding.
We're creating.
These tiny seeds of generosity.
A better world for everyone.
And each time we choose to plant one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We're contributing to the creation.
And it makes me think about.
Of this more beautiful and bountiful garden.
What Shoghi Effendi said.
For everyone to enjoy.
About how it's not just about.
That is such a lovely image.
Giving materially.
And it reminds me.
But also about giving of our.
Of something Shoghi Effendi said.
Spiritual qualities.
About the importance.
Like love and kindness.
Of not only giving materially.
Compassion.
But also giving.
Those are even more precious.
Of our spiritual quality.
The material wealth.
Like love, kindness, compassion.
And when we share those,
he suggests
that's what creates a world.
That these qualities are even more precious.
That's richer in every sense.
Than material wealth. It's like we're weaving these threads.
And that when we share them freely.
Of love and connection.
We create a world that is.
And it strengthens the bonds.
Richer in every sense of the word.
That hold us all together. It's like we're weaving these threads of love and connection.
And that's what this deep dive's all about.
Throughout the fabric of society.
Recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Strengthening the bonds.
And that our actions really do matter.
That hold us together.
Yeah.
And creating a world where everyone feels seen.
It's been an inspiring conversation.
Valued and supported.
I don't know about you.
And I think that's ultimately.
And I'm feeling energized.
For me to go out there.
Into sacrificial giving.
And put these ideas into practice.
Is all about. It's about recognizing.
What about you?
The interconnectedness of all things. The power of individual choice.
Yeah.
The transformative potential of love and generosity.
It's about understanding.
It's about understanding that we're not
alone.
Just these isolated individuals.
We're all part of this.
But part of a vast.
Yeah, this big web of life.
An interconnected web of life. And that we can create positive change.
And that our actions.
That extends beyond ourselves.
Have the power to create these ripples.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Of positive change.
For joining us.
That extend far beyond ourselves.
On this deep dive.
It's been such a rich and inspiring conversation.
Into the power of giving.
I don't know about you.
We hope you've been inspired as well.
But I'm feeling incredibly energized.
To go out there and make a difference.
And ready to go out and put these ideas.
In the world.
Into practice.
One act of giving at a time.
Me too. And I think that's the perfect takeaway.
Yeah.
For our listeners.
Thanks again.
To go out into the world.
And listening.
With this renewed sense of purpose.
And we'll see you next time.
A commitment to living a life.
Bahá'í.
Service and generosity.